This is not a video that I had originally intended to make, nor is it the type of content that anyone should expect of me in the future. I've just seen enough vitriol on this topic that I felt the desire to be a bit more intentional in how I shared my thoughts. When we talk about any political figure, I think it's important to begin by acknowledging the emotional weight of the issue. For many people, Charlie Kirk's rhetoric wasn't just irritating or provocative. They believed it to be harmful. He was a skilled communicator who built his platform by leaning into confrontation. That influence has shaped how millions of people think, talk, and act, and those ripples affect real lives. To ignore that would be dishonest. And at the same time, recognizing impact is not the same as direct physical violence. This is the crucial distinction for me. Words matter enormously. They can inspire compassion or they can normalize tribalism. They can give rise to justice movements or they can fuel bigotry. History is full of leaders, from Gandhi and MLK to Hitler and Mussolini, who mobilized millions, primarily through their words. Speech has consequences, sometimes terrible ones, but the consequences do not erase categories. Violence is violence. Speech is speech. Harmful rhetoric is distinctly different from physical assault in every dimension, and it does not justify the murder of anyone. When I heard that Charlie Kirk had been assassinated, one of the thoughts that came to my head was how easy it was going to be for people to universally say that yes, this was an awful act that should be condemned. You can imagine my surprise to see some people saying, in essence, that arguing peacefully for ideas and beliefs, so long as they appear offensive enough, justify a joyful celebration of murder. If we really believe that, then where does that end? If the death of one public figure is worthy of celebration because the views they promoted were heinous, then what about the millions of people who share those views? Should they be written off as well? I mean, after all, the people in Charles's audiences aren't mindless victims, nor are they hardened villains. They're human beings capable of error and change, sometimes misled and sometimes complicit. If there were a button that could wipe out everyone who thinks like him, would pressing it be the good thing to do? I believe that most of us would probably be disgusted with that prospect, because it's a clear indulgence of vindictive hate. But that's the end point of the logic if we don't draw clearer lines. Whenever a side in politics paints the other as evil, stupid, or irredeemable, it pushes away the possibility of conversation. We've seen people on the right describe the left as monsters, traitors, or worse, and we've seen people on the left describe the right as fascists, sociopaths, or brainwashed hordes. Both are exaggerations. Both encourage us to stop listening, and neither move us closer to truth or common ground. I didn't personally like Charlie Kirk, but I did value the way that he engaged in open conversation, even when he did so in a way that I didn't like. I don't pretend that every person pursuing dialogue is doing so in good faith. Plenty of them are not. Many care more to dominate or humiliate the other side rather than attempt to understand them. But the fact remains, people who engage with others who disagree with them in a public and peaceful way should never be condemned for doing so. The act of peaceful confrontation itself carries immense weight. It signals that the public square still exists and that debate is still possible. So when I see people celebrating Kirk's death, it makes me incredibly sad. I don't dismiss the anger, but I refuse to embrace the celebration. I believe in freedom of speech, and I refuse to accept that ideas warrant this act or any other acts remotely similar to this one. Critique words or engage in deliberation to push against influence. But once we cross the line into cheering for death, we've left the ground of building something better. We've chosen fire over foundation. For me, that's not where I want to stand. And I would encourage each of you to push for an environment where cooler heads can prevail. I'll see you guys next week.